Hi guys, Kev here from KevLar Gaming. We've got a PC building video today and we're doing an upgrade on an old customer's PC. So we built them a budget PC a while back with a Ryzen 5 3600 in it, a GTX 1660 Super, which actually back when we built it just over a year ago, we actually managed to get that for retail price at 240 quid. So it was a decent budget build for, I think it was about 600 to 650 pounds. They've done some upgrades themselves. They've already upgraded their graphics card to an RTX 3080. Obviously I had to upgrade their power supply when doing that, but they got a few more bits they want to upgrade now. So we're upgrading their cooling. It's got a Corsair H100i AIO, the Elite Capellix version. They're upgrading their CPU to a Ryzen 7 5800X, and we've got a motherboard to upgrade as well. So yeah, it's going to be quite a beast of a PC. Now the PC's behind me here. It is still in a budget PC case, so this is the first player DKD4 case. Now I've done a review of this before. I'll put a link near the end of this video to that review. It's actually one of my favourite budget cases. It's actually pretty good. It's got good airflow. It is quite small. It will fit the motherboard. It fits this big graphics card, and the cooling is actually pretty good, so it's not too bad. But I am just slightly concerned if we're actually going to fit the AIO in there properly. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough room at the top, but we'll see. If we can't fit it, I've got a spare case down here, which is big enough that we can stick it all in the meantime. So I'm just running some tests on it now. I just want to see how it performs as it is, and I can do some tests afterwards and see what the results are once we've done the upgrades. Now I'm doing a head and benchmark test first on ultra settings, but just at 1080p, only because I'm using a 1080p monitor on my test area here, and we'll just see what scores that gets. Not expecting there to be a huge difference on the head and benchmark scores, because that's really a gaming test, and obviously his 3080s in there, and I'm not really sure if his Ryzen 5 3600 was really holding that back much for gaming. But obviously once we put the Ryzen 7 5800X in there and do different tests, maybe a cine benchmark test, we're actually testing the CPU power, that's where there'll be a big difference. So if his kid's going to be using this PC for streaming or recording and things like that, so a bit more multitasking, yeah, it'll perform so much better than it does currently. Right, we've done the head and benchmark test. I'll put the score up now. We're just running the Cinebench test, and I don't know if you can see there, we've actually got some pretty high temperatures coming up here on the CPU. So at the moment maxing out at 88. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we go, and obviously we're putting a more powerful CPU in there next, which is going to generate more heat, but we're going to have much better cooling because we've only got the old Ryzen stock fan in the PC at the moment, so we should get some much better cooling. Anyway, once that's done, I will put up the Cinebench score on screen, and then we'll get into pulling the PC apart. Right, so while that Cinebench is running, I forget how long that takes, let's just get this unboxed and we can get the CPU in it. One thing I do need educating on, okay, so it says AMD 5000 desktop ready, right? And then up to 3rd gen AMD Ryzen. Now I thought the AMD 5000 chips are 4th generation, right? So the 5800X, which we got, I would say is 4th generation. So how can it be 5000 chip ready but only up to 3rd gen? I could be completely wrong there, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go with putting the Ryzen 7 chip straight into this motherboard and just see if it works without needing a BIOS update. If it turns out it needs a BIOS update, that's fine. We'll just put the Ryzen 5 back in, flash the BIOS, and then start again, but that's not a problem. Okay, let's get the chip in, lift up the lever, get our chip out the box. We're going to line up the little triangle with the little triangle corner on the motherboard. Drop that in place and close. And for this and the CPU cooler we've got, I'm pretty sure the CPU cooler uses the standard AMD brackets that are already on the motherboard, so that's good. We don't need to mess around changing anything there. Right, Cinebench is done, and I will post the results up now so we can see the results before the upgrade. So we got a score of 8518, and our CPU was maxing out at 88 degrees there. So let's get in. Always interested to see what the inside of people's PCs are like. As you know, sometimes you get them and they're extremely dirty and dusty, so giving it a nice clean is also going to help with some cooling as well. Yeah, there you go. Look. bit dusty, so we'll give it a clean as well while we're doing this. Okay, let's get around the back. Tell you what, I'm quite impressed with the cable management they did. I mean, a lot of that was my cable management when I first built it, but they replaced their power supply themselves, and yeah, that's nice and neat. Really neat actually, especially as this is a case that's you know, it's quite tight in there. There's not a lot of room to do your cable management. Right, now before I take all this out, I'm gonna just get the cooler out the box, yeah, and see whether I think it's gonna fit or not. So it's gonna go up there. Okay, so that's where it will screw. And will the fan fit without the RAM getting in the way? I think our answer is yes, that's going to fit. It'll be nice and tight, but I think we're okay. So we just got to hope that when we get the new motherboard in there, it's not pushing the RAM even higher up in the case. Right, so I'm going to put it all apart. So I'm going to whiz through this and I'll come back to you once it's all apart. Right, there we go, GPU's out. Nice card that. Right, let's unplug everything off the motherboard. Right, okay, that's it. Everything's out. Now, I'm definitely going to take it away and give it a bit of a dust. Okay, so both my compressed air cans were quite low, so they weren't very strong. I got the Hoover to it as well. Used my makeup brush, which is really good for dusting PCs because they've got really nice soft bristles. And yeah, it's okay. You know, I've done the best I can. It's a lot better than it was. It's nice and clean-ish now. Anyway, so we're good to start getting the new motherboard in there. But first of all, I'm going to take out these red SATA cables. That's good. It wasn't actually a cable tied in, so they're nice and easy to pull out. Cool. Annoyingly though, do I need to get the power supply out? No, I'm just going to cut these cables. I won't use them anymore. I've got plenty of black ones in stock. That just saved me a job from actually pulling the power supply out. And I know on the new motherboard the cables aren't going to go up there. They're going to have to go this way because the SATA ports are on the side of the new motherboard. Right, so let's get the new motherboard in. First of all, I know I need to change around the standoffs, make sure we've got enough standoffs and in the right place for the new motherboard. There we go, standoffs are all in place. Ooh, look at that, we get to do the satisfying peel. How exciting. Sorry, probably a terrible camera angle because I'm trying to stand behind my camera stand and reach over to do this. So just make sure I have got all the wires through that I need and it's sitting above all the standoffs correctly. And I've got space down here. Sorry, I know you can't see that, to get my CPU cable through, that's fine. Oh, dropping everything. Don't worry, it's not a PC part, that was my end of my screwdriver. You know what, I do always find that actually doing upgrades like this, where you're pretty much nearly having to take everything out and replace it, is harder work than building a PC from scratch, because you kind of do it in a funny order. And obviously, like you see, I've got all these cables in the way, and you just kind of try your best not to untie and uncable manage everything, so it just gets a little bit more fiddly. Okay, that's in, good. Let's get the RAM in. Okay, so we're going to put the RAM in slots 2 and 4, line it up. Click it in, click, satisfying click is always good. Line that one up, click it in. Okay, RAM is in, let's start plugging in cables. You know what, looking at the back of this case, I've got one small concern, is where the hell am I going to put the commander core that comes with the cooler? This thing, it's too chunky to sit there. It's going to have to sit down there, it's not going to fit in there. Interesting. That might be the first hurdle that we've got because of the case size, and shit, I've trapped the CPU cable in there. I'm just going to need to unscrew that. Whoops. Okay, CPU cable's in. Right, I'm going to off camera now and just stick all the SATA cables in, plug all the hard drives in, and I'll come back when we try and tackle the AIO CPU cooler, and that's where we'll find out if it's actually going to fit or not. Right, okay, SATA cables are in, nice and neat. I've got the fans screwed onto here. Now, the moment of truth. Is it going to fit? You know what the answer is? Sorry, I moved the camera. It's just getting in my way. The answer is very nearly, but no. Okay, so over this side we've got the front panel, or the case, and then this side, just the tip of that motherboard. It's so close. We can't push it back far enough into the case because of the motherboard. Is there a way to screw it in as it is? I think the answer is not a good idea. I'm gonna lie it flat on its back because it's easier to play with. I can see better then. And it's definitely not going to go at the front because his graphics card nearly touches. Right, and here we are a fairly long time later. So can you tell what I've done? This is a completely different case. I have smoothed everything over into this case, which I already had this built as another PC that's actually currently for sale, but I haven't got any buyers for it yet. And this is the only case big enough that I've got in stock at the moment. So spoke to the customer, agreed actually what I'll do is I'll just swap it all out into this case, so take it all out of his case and stick it in here, just so that we can get his PC done and finished. Now, oh my god, because basically that means I've got 3 PCs on the go building in this room. So I've had to strip out everything that was in that build at the moment, then obviously strip out his old case and everything we had put in there, and then we've obviously got his old bits that we took out of his old case all over the place. Okay, so just have a look at the state of my room. My wife would go mental if she came in here. I have got shit everywhere. I've just got old bits of PC there, old bits of PC there, case there. Oh my god, it's just chaos. I enjoy doing this, right? So, and as this customer's actually a friend, so I'm not charging for this, but Jesus Christ, this has taken me a lot longer than I thought it would. One good thing that I spotted though, so when I was actually taking his old PC apart, the power supply was screwed in with just 2 screws and these fan screws rather than the actual power supply screws. Now I know exactly why, and it's a bad design of the power supply really. It's an RGB power supply, so the fan's got RGB lighting, but as most of you know, like, power supplies are designed to have the fan facing down, so it's you know, sucking in cool air and blowing out hot air. Whereas when the fan's facing up, it's sucking in the air from inside the case, which is not cool air, so that's why it's designed to be face down. But obviously with the RGB, you kind of want the fan facing up so you can see the RGB. So they had to force it in because the screw holes on the case and the screw holes on the power supply are all designed so that it fits facing down. And there you go, you can screw it in nicely. So when I tried to put it in facing up, yeah, the screw holes don't match up. So he obviously had to do it facing up, and he's kind of forced some screws in to get it in place. Now obviously I don't want to do that because if something goes wrong, I don't want to accept responsibility for the fact that it's been screwed in wrong. So I'll let him know. If he wants to turn it around, that's up to him. Okay, so we are at the same position as we were before. So we've got to the point where we're ready to fit the CPU cooler. This one's going to fit easy in this case, which is great news. So here we go. Some screws I prepared earlier with the washers on them already, because this is a pain because you need to hold it in place and screw to get the first few in. So let's do a middle one. Right, okay, so that's all screwed in. So now we want to attach the actual cooler itself, or so I say the block. But we need to, first of all, being careful not to touch the pre-applied thermal paste, I need to take these off and put the AMD compatible brackets on there. Just really want to do it without touching that thermal paste because as this has taken me so long, I don't want to be messing around with doing my own thermal paste. As it's pre-applied, let's try and use it. Come on, out you come. Right, so that needs to go like that. That needs to go same on that side. There we go. I'm having to let it hang now because I need both hands to get these little things screwed on. But it's good, I haven't touched the thermal paste yet. Okay. Ah, idiot. After saying it, oh well, that's forcing me to replace it, which is fine because I prefer aftermarket thermal paste anyway. I just couldn't be asked to do it. Right, that's all removed. Just put some purifier on there. Make sure it's dry and purified, ready for some fresh thermal paste. Well, I blame you guys because this is always harder trying to do it at the side, not in front, you know, trying to avoid getting in front of a camera. Right, plonk that on there. Right, you know what I said at the start about hoping that the motherboard doesn't need BIOS update? I really hope that is the case now because this has taken me way too long. Okay, here we go. Sorry, this is fiddly. I'm just gonna hook that over there. Right, something's not right here. I've done this wrong. Jesus, okay. I'm such an idiot. I should have had a break. I think these need to go the other way up. Or I should have just read the instructions, but I've done this so many times, I should have just known. Right, okay, let's try again. Right, okay, so we're on. Right, okay, so pump's in place. Now I just need to fit the Commander Core or Commander Pro, whatever it's called, and at some point I need to sort out the cable management. Well, we've got a nice spot on this case actually. Stick this, needs to plug in this side. Perfect. Feed that through for USB. Right, where's my USB socket? Sorry, head's going to get in the way, so I need to look. There can't only be one USB port on that motherboard, surely. Right, I'm going to need to look at instructions, aren't I? Wow, yeah, there's only one USB 2 header on this motherboard. I've got an older version of that motherboard in my case and it's got two. Right, he's going to need to get an extension cable then, so what I'm going to do is unplug this USB, which is the case USB, and we'll use it for the Commander because that's more important to get the fans cooling the CPU properly. We'll leave that hanging there, so he's going to have an option now, so he can either buy himself an extension or just live without the USB on the front panel. There's plenty USB slots on the I/O of the motherboard. Jesus, this, oh my god, this is just getting worse and worse. Problem after problem. Right, back to the back. Okay, let's plug the fans in. Oh, I'm dreading doing this cable management now. I just really can't be asked to keep going. This upgrade is doing my nut. And then needs some SATA power. There we go. Right, so bar cable management, everything is plugged in. Last but not least, it's the way on its back. It's annoying because I haven't done the cable management yet, so we're squashing the cables a bit, that's fine. Right, where's that graphics card gone? Here it is. Is that going to fit? No, I need to move those around. Nothing in this upgrade has gone easy. There we go, GPU is slotted in, let's just plug it in. Right, I'm getting sloppy. I haven't screwed the graphics card in. Stop it wobbling around. Right, okay. Right, that's screwed in. I mean, I must say that's not really doing much anti-sagging. It's not even touching the graphics card, but we'll put it in anyway. That's how they had it. Right, so in theory, that's PC built and it should work. I'm gonna have to tidy up, make some space so we can plug it in and see how it goes. Right, okay, it's the following day. As you can see, the PC's all working, up and running. It's all good. Now, I did a lot of it off camera because I think you might have noticed earlier on in the video, I was having a bit of a struggle with this, wasn't I? And it was taking me a long time and it was getting quite late, and my phone, which I used to record, was running out of battery. So I just got on with it off camera. So I guess a few things to update. Where did we get to? So I had it all built, hadn't I? So after that I had to tidy up the mess in this room so I can have some space. I did the cable management at the back. I'll just stick a picture up now so you can see the before and after of the cable management. Turned it all on. So good news is that it did not need a BIOS update, so it all worked fine straight away. And then I ran the tests. So I'll put the pictures up now. So what we've got here is the Heaven benchmark test, and as suspected, it's not a lot higher than the previous test. As I said, it's really a test of the graphics card, that, and I don't think the old CPU was holding that back much. So similar result on the Heaven benchmark. Cinebench, as you can see here, massive jump up in score, nearly doubled. So what was our first result? I think I said it was 8,000 something, and now we are on, sorry, I can't even remember as I'm talking, it's like 15,000 something, but you'll see that over here. And then temperature wise, again, nice big difference here. So the Cinebench test, obviously stressing the CPU at 100%, so it's obviously going to get hot, but the hottest this got to was 81 degrees, and I think before it was at 89. So yeah, I dread to think what this CPU would get to if we didn't have this new cooler on it, if we still had the old cooler. So that's a good result, and most of the tests actually it was sort of in the mid to late 70s, it was only maxing out at that 81. And then lastly, it does idle at a nice low temperature now as well, as we can see here. So there we go, that's it. I mean, that was an eventful build, good fun, I enjoy it. I think the PC looks nice. There we go, we can see the new cooler there, and this case is going to be actually a much better fit for what he's actually got in there, so excellent. I'm not going to get in front of the camera to do my usual outro and goodbye because I am a mess. I've just come back from playing golf and it was very muddy. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Please do give us a like, and if you're not already a subscriber, please do hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.